here we go. Hey, I think our audio's actually working this time.
Hello?
We got audio.
Audio.
Well, amazing. I've got audio levels.
Hello, audience. Are you actually able to
Oh my
perceive
goodness.
I don't
We are
want to be
being perceived.
Didn't-
Meg's
I
making a
didn't-
cameo. Hey, Meg.
Yep,
That's
I
your
guess
bird.
Meg has decided that hanging is no longer
Oh,
dangerous.
we're still swapped lane from last time. So you are
Are
Oogna,
we?
and I'm the DM for
No.
tonight.
No.
I'm gonna swap us
That
because I
is
am not
the
ready to run a
amazing-
game today.
I don't want to be Oogna.
I want to run a game. You guys don't want me to run a
Meg,
game.
it's because Meg is DMing. That's why.
Yeah, Meg's the DM. All right, we're swapped. We're good.
Okay,
We're all ready to go.
we're good to go. All right. Hello, internet friends and webcomic fans. Your friendly neighborhood dungeon biologist here. Welcome to another episode of Trash Heroes, the Dungeons and Dragons stream, wherein we recount the epic adventures of our wildly improbable collection of horrible creatures known as the Trash Heroes. Our players, as always, this wonderful collection of talented internet cartoonists. Please check out their work in the Dealy, which I discovered last time. I think I've been reversed, and now I'm actually pointing.
Nope, you're
I'm
the
not
wrong
sure.
way.
Nope.
That way.
I'm
You're
back
good.
the other way. Just the one time for some reason I was reversed. So now
Man,
I'm
I gotta
pointing to
wrangle
the
some
correct way.
birds.
The box in the upper right, we'll just say that. Please check out all the links to everybody's Patreons and websites. Check out their comics. Lots of fun stuff going on there. We're down a player this week, as you may have noticed. Danielle is, I believe, now en route or already in Denmark.
Hope so.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the whole COVID stuff, but fingers crossed that that all is well
Yup.
with Danielle. And we will be without Danielle for a few sessions, but that is okay because Glorpa, as you'll recall, just kind of took off. So without further ado, let's meet the characters. First up, as always, Keeper of the Vermin, Protector of the Trash Heap, obvious leader of the group, Fettid Quaggle.
How about that? But hi.
And next we have the larger-than-life pit-fighting superstar that is Oogna Sugar Tusks. Next up, our trickster cleric, rogue baker, all-around party animal, Tromlin Darioles.
Thank you.
Absent this week, the all-natural Genasi swamp druid Glorpa. You'll have to imagine
here's a plant in
of the week.
Danielle's
Yep.
honor.
Yep, in Glorpa's honor. And finally, our sweet old grandpa, who's also accidentally an ancient warlock, Copernicus Sunshine. For those who might be new to the stream, I know it's a new year. It's been a while since we've done one of these. I'm going to do a little bit of a recap. This is a 5e campaign with a lot of optional rules and homebrewed modifications, but I'm sure you'll be able to follow along without any difficulties. I'll try and do a relatively brief recap of the campaign so far, or at least the current adventure. This group of improbable heroes, and I use that term quite wrongly,
The heroes part, not the improbable.
has been, are on a quest from the Thieves Guild of Mud Hollow to acquire owlbear milk for some potion ingredient for some kind of shady wizard.
Some rich dude's gonna bathe in it.
Yeah, some rich. Yeah,
Yep.
we don't want to know.
Elon Musk. Fantasy Elon Musk.
Elon Musk. I'll come up with a name.
I made
He is
myself
a-
mad just thinking.
He is
canon
a
now.
lich billionaire, Elon Husk.
Oh, good.
Oh, God.
Yes,
Done.
good.
Canon. It's canon now. Expect
I would say we
expect him to show up at some point.
I'd say we could do a Loxodon called Elon Tusk, but I'm pretty sure that's already a gag in Rick and Morty.
Good.
I'm pretty sure it's
Also,
already.
Tusk is already the last name of
Oh, that's true.
your Loxodon.
Oh, yeah.
It could be. It could be related.
His cousin. Yeah.
So the group conferred with their ally Dangalf the Wizard to figure out where would be a good place to go for owlbear milk, and also what's been going on with their enemies, the Raven cult. And so the group set out with a friendly Loxodon merchant to journey around the Great Ring Road to the wild woods of the far north, where it is said that great horned owlbears can be found in their breeding season. The group arrived in the northern reaches near the woods at the city of Ravenfall, where we are still with the party as the party ran into a variety of difficulties. The party learned that their enemies, the Raven cult, led by the nefarious Eliphas Darkmoor, remain active in the city and are spying on them with their red-eyed Raven familiars. They
That's
also
what
learned
Glorpa flew
that the
off after.
red-eyed, yeah, and Glorpa discovered that the red-eyed ravens are in fact, or at least this particular red-eyed raven was in fact an imp, an infernal shape changer that took the form of a raven. The group also learned that the ruler of the city, the Countess Nightshade, seems to have a tumultuous history with Copernicus and his dead wife Barb. And a few details were revealed, but not very much, just enough to be tantalizing. It was also discovered that there is a local gang war raging between groups of the local quaggles. And for those who are new to the stream, quaggles are sewer-dwelling small creatures like goblins, kobolds, ratkin, down on their luck halflings, and so on. And Fettid has now gotten considerably involved in said gang war. And in fact, you'll recall last game, Jeff had to run off for an emergency late in the stream.
Yeah, that was fun.
And so the following morning, you all found that Fettid was nowhere to be found and had left some sort of a badly scrawled note to the effect of, dealing with gang war. See you later.
Yeah, back in a bit.
Quaggle shit.
Yep. Doing quaggle shit.
Mhm.
Back soon. Soon spelt with a Z.
Yep.
Zune?
Yep. My favorite portable media player.
And in addition, of course, the group learned that there is a huge regional pit fight planned for the very next day, which is, of course, in game the current day, in which the local favorite, an acrobatic halfling called Basilisk, is going to take on the undefeated dwarven champion Dwayne the Rock Thunderfist. And everyone locally basically thinks that Oogna is here to interfere with the match in some way. Today is, in fact, the day of the match, and the party is already on their way to the stadium. The stadium, in this case, is a huge open-air amphitheater in which there are a large number of enormous tall poles with various platforms and netting and ropes and stuff between them to make for a relatively aerial battleground. And in fact, this particular arena is widely known as the Eyrie.
This is not my home turf. Not where I
Yes.
do very good.
And the crowd had already begun to gather when we broke away, including Timothy and Tomothy, the Loxodon merchant's minions, who he left behind here to take advantage of the big match and make some sales. So they're running around with their cigar boxes.
Make it sound seedy.
Yeah,
Just doing a job. They're good boys.
they're good boys. They're good boys. They're selling all sorts of totally legit merchandise.
Absolutely.
I just imagine this, all this Oogna bootleg merchandise, like Woogna.
Yep.
The color scheme is off.
Got
Oogna,
third
the
In
bone
fantasy
musher.
China.
A bone musher. Is Oogna riding a pestle like Baba Yaga?
Yep.
Yes.
Excellent. I believe you had already seen the Countess Nightshade and her consort arrive in one of the royal boxes. You'd also seen a number of members of Tromlin's extended family
Right.
arrive,
Yeah.
including
Right.
including his father.
Correct me if
Also-
I'm wrong. I was being sent somewhere. I learned this
Oh, right.
stuff, and it was like, I'm about to do something stupid.
Yeah, I think you were sent to the elven ships. There was like the elven
Well-
ships that Glorpa had seen in a dream.
Yeah, so Glorpa had a vision last game involving an orc who seems plausibly to be Oogna's mother, fighting some kind of half hill giant in the mountains. And at the end of the vision, it was seen that far below the cliffs was some in the distance some kind of ship haven or port city where large white elven swan ships were moored. And some of the same ships that Glorpa recognized from the vision are in fact tied up at the quay below as people come and dignitaries come from all around to watch this epic bout that's about to take place.
Also, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't Nightshade's consort kind of a douche nozzle?
Yes. He is in fact
He's earning her a bad reputation in court. I think I ended our meeting telling her that out loud, or
I think so.
and just running away.
Nice.
Yes, you put in a
Oogna
bad word
understood
for him.
not a lot of what was going on there, but she was like, I don't like that guy.
And indeed, his name is Gregory Langarian.
Mm.
And he is a rat-faced, pretty boy, blonde-haired little, yeah. Not very nice, very cruel. He's got a reputation for being very cruel.
He's in the D&D for college sex comedies. He's the leader of the snooty frat.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's basically like grown-up Joffrey crossed with Draco.
Right. Couple real winners there.
Just a 2-for-1 douche fest.
Indeed. And yeah, so you are now within the so I believe it is Oogna, Copernicus, and Tromlin now in the stands. Timothy and Tomothy, who came in with you, have now moved off among the gathering crowd to start selling stuff. Glorpa had flown off to go and investigate these ships, but otherwise had basically been distracted, turned into a raven, and flew away. And Fettid, of course, you haven't seen him yet this morning.
Been busy doing murders in the sewer murders.
Now I do
We
believe
don't ask about those.
that Tromlin was thinking about going and investigating those ships as well, but we can sort of pick up wherever you like, and you can decide to do what you want to do. But I'm gonna start with Fettid and catch him up.
Absolutely.
So Jeff, early this morning at the inn, well, not at the inn, sorry, you guys had all gone back to Lord Godfrey's magical tent setup that was well defended in the marketplace. And in the morning, Fettid, having been approached, I think Fettid stayed with you guys while you went in and had your audience with Nightshade, but afterwards, when Jeff had to run off, I said that Fettid had disappeared. So basically, Fettid, you got approached as you were sort of trailing the group as they were moving around the city by your friends that you had made locally. Where's my adventure notes? Here we go. Your new Quaggle friends who had told you about their difficulties. And it was specifically the little goblin Trit Resnar and his girlfriend Brenda Yori. Who had, with their like lank black hair hanging in their eyes, had come back to tell you that things had gotten worse. After you and Glorpa's little stunt to mess with the Ratkin, the Weasels, the rival group of Quaggles, you had basically sparked off a new offensive as they had sort of gathered together, perceived that they were under some sort of attack by the rivals, and had basically renewed hostilities. And they are basically have come to beg you to help them defend their primary warren. So you basically went with them knowing this was like, important. You left a note for your friends.
Right.
Birds, where are you? Yeah, the birds all fell off of something. I'm just making sure they're okay.
The birds got startled by something like each other.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
like
A
a
slight
movement
breeze.
or a lack of movement. The
Oh, that's
presence
why.
of food where there always is food.
Yep.
Mhm.
Oh no, the worst.
Something like that. Um. So yeah. Fettid, Trit, and Brenda take you down into the local sewers to where their warren is, and their particular warren is under part of the old city near the marketplace, basically in the sewers of the old city, and the stronghold where the weasels have kind of set themselves up is near the actual dungeons of the keep.
Mhm.
So they've kind of laid claim to the sort of the real dungeons, the 10 by 10 rooms where orcs guard chests and all that sort of thing. And of course everybody knows that's where all like the real good pickings are. That's where there's dead adventurers to eat and all that kind of stuff. While the quaggles, the rest of the quaggles have been kind of pushed into the older sewer ways, where it's pretty much just garbage till they bond. And so they take you down there and they introduce you to the mercenary that they have sort of banded together to hire. This one lone warrior that is all that they could afford to help defend their primary warren. And this guy is a dwarf. He's basically stripped to the waist and covered in oil. He might as well just have barbarian tattooed on his forehead. And he does in fact have things tattooed on his forehead, but they're all like, basically if you go into any tattoo artist and go to the wall of like generic bro tribal tattoos, this guy's just covered in that.
Nice.
I'm kind of imagining Groundskeeper Willie right now, oiled up and stripped to the waist.
Yeah, but shorter.
Scottish
See, I'm
accent.
just imagining a
Very good.
dwarven barbarian who puts the actual bear in barbarian.
Yes. Yes. He has a front beard, and then on the back he's got a back beard as well.
Ooh.
Oh.
We call it a mullet.
Yeah. No, I mean growing out of his back.
It's just
Oh!
a pelt at that point.
Uh-huh.
Oh, so it's me. You made a character based off me.
Both are braided. There's like a row of braids.
Oh,
like
no.
I'm getting
shoulder
there.
blades.
I'm getting there.
Good.
And he's got a pair. He wields paired hammers, and he's got them both thrust into his belt. He doesn't have a lot of other equipment in true barbarian fashion. And they introduce you to their. Trit goes, "This is Butch. We hired him to help protect us, but I mean he can only be in one place at a time. And these weasels, they're getting trickier. They started making traps right on the edges of our warren, and he fell in one of them." And to which Butch says, "Hey, to be fair, it was a pretty well concealed pit. Okay, I mean,
Now I'm picturing him as Patrick Warburton.
he kind of is.
Yeah.
He's kind of like a dwarven version of Kronk with no
Patrick
shirt.
Warburton.
His name is Butch Irk.
Oh, good.
He says, I mean, like, I'm pretty good at fighting weasels, right? Like, everybody knows I'm the best weasel fighter in town, so that's why they came to me.
Everybody.
It's on my CV." He holds up like a scrap of leather that says "good at weasel fighting," all spelled badly, and his name at the top. It's Butch with 2 T's.
Is there
It's
any
Butch.
other qualifications that he has, or is it just the weasel fighting thing? Like,
That's it. No, it's just a scrap of leather that just says Butch Irk. Good spelled Gud at weasel fighting is Weezl, and then fighting is like Fiting. and then it's signed at the bottom with an X.
As you do.
Very
Yeah.
professional. I like it.
That's
So
that's my references.
So he's his own reference, and he's certified himself
Yes.
at only one thing, which
Yes.
is weasel fighting. I mean, he is.
I mean, you
He's a
customize your
husband
CV for the
entrepreneur.
job. Yeah,
Yeah,
he is.
respect that.
So he says, so I could use the help. Because like sometimes there's weasels over there, and he points in one direction. He says, but then there's also weasels over there, and what do you do?
Classic weasel maneuver.
Yeah. And Trit says, I thought maybe you could help us with these traps they're laying to try and prevent us from defending against them. Like, as soon as you go down tunnels any significant way, we got to be on the lookout for all these traps, all these weasel traps.
Well, I am pretty good at traps. It's kind of a thing.
But is it on your CV?
I told you he'd be good at traps.
I don't have a CV so much as a patch of weird skin that kind of functions as one. But yeah,
I think that's called a skeevy.
maybe.
Do you want to check out some of these tunnels?
Yes, I would like to do that.
CV's just how he spells eczema.
Skeevy. Cool. So let me double check how this works. I do believe you have a feat that gives you, yes, advantage
Yeah.
on rolls to find traps.
Yep.
So you can make an investigation roll for me.
Right.
And roll it with advantage because of the yeah.
14.
Oh, hey, Alina.
Mhm.
Just to remind me, did you ever update the
Oh no, our
trackers?
yeah, our
I
trackers
know
are
I gave you the stats after
the
last
bit
game.
tracker is good, but the inspiration tracker I have not updated.
Let me have a look here. It should be Copernicus should have one less. Fettid should have one more.
All right.
Glorpa should have one more, as should Oogna. And Tromlin should have one less.
Hold on a second. I'm going to need that reread.
Yep, I will do that again once you're ready.
Fettid needs one more.
Fettid needs to have one. Copernicus needs to have, or sorry, Fettid needs to have two. Copernicus
Gotcha.
needs to have one.
Even better.
Cool. And Tromlin
Glorpa
is
and Oogna should have 3 each.
okay.
And Tromlin should have 1.
I think we're almost accurate.
Yeah. Because I did not have the ability to edit that last game. So I didn't.
And Fettid's still with the black token.
Yeah.
Oh,
Dun,
dear.
dun,
Tromlin,
dun.
did Tromlin still have the fairy black token?
I think
Did I
we took
take
that
that
off for
off? I
some
don't-
reason, but you said you would
You
remember.
took it off because Odin. Oh no, Odin Loki. got
Oh
involved.
yes, because of the pranking. Yes,
Because gods.
I vaguely thought I had done something with it, but I couldn't
But
remember.
see, I honestly had assumed it was going to be used when that goddess came back and said, "By the way, here's
Mhm.
your child," which I'm still expecting.
You know.
We will love
I am
them and
completely
protect
fine
them.
with Tromlin going into battle with a baby Bjorn on him.
Mhm. And then we'll put you in one on Oogna, and it'll
Yes.
be like a turducken of people.
A Turbjornin.
Yep.
Yep. Bjorn ducking.
Mm.
If you put a duck in the Bjorn, I guess. Okay, so yeah, so go ahead.
My
And
high
make
roll was a 21 with everything
Okay.
added up.
Excellent. So, in fairly short order, just in the interest of time, I'll actually, you know what? I'll get you to make a second roll. Once you've
Sure.
discovered the traps, you have the trap making tools
hmm
to mess with said traps. So I will
well,
have you.
I've got good news for my second roll. I got a nat 20, so I think
Ooh.
Bam. Then there you go. So, awesome. So in that case, what you can actually do is not just disarm these traps, but you can alter them so that
yes, that's
the
exactly what I wanted to
the
do.
weasels don't know
Mm-hmm.
how to avoid setting them off, but the quaggles do,
The old backfire, another classic.
and turn the traps against the weasels. So you basically spent the rest of your day like doing this, like building traps, building like additional booby traps on the traps, so that like when the weasel comes to check one of their traps, a different
They
trap
get
goes
trapped
off.
while they're trapping. Yeah.
Yep. It's like there's a pit trap, and when they take the lid off to look inside, like spikes shoot out at them.
Mm-hmm.
I heard you like traps, so I'll put some traps on your traps. So
Mm-hmm.
you can have traps with your traps.
Now your traps are trapped.
You're some kind of trap and trapper,
Yep, that's me.
which I don't know why, but I'm picturing that like, isn't there a Prodigy song that reminds me of? But anyway, and you eventually, basically, having set this up, tell the quaggles that you have to check in with your friends, but that you'll come back to see how they're making out and whether this has worked.
Yeah.
Butch says, "Hey, thanks for the help. I appreciate it."
No problem. Happy to be of assistance. I do not like these weasels. So
He
it'll be
gives
fun
you the scrap of leather and says, "My card." It's the same scrap of leather that he said before was his CV.
I'm gonna have to fight the urge
You ever-
to not just eat it.
If you ever need to hire a bodyguard, I'm your dwarf.
You know, we might at some point. I will keep that in mind.
And just this scrap of leather that just has his name and says, "Good at weasel fighting."
Mhm.
His card.
Now he's got to write a new CV.
He'll find a rock. It's all good. And just give a rock to somebody. This is my CV.
Mhm.
And so you can head back to the arena.
Cool.
So meanwhile, the arena is in fact, as I said, filling up, and it is nearing the time of the match. And I think that's actually a good point for us to have our first poll.
Ooh, I will turn the
So
chat around.
I'll ask y'all to,
So I can't see.
step away from the chat.
Hard thing. Go.
All right. So chat audience, we are about to have a follow-up poll based on one of the polls from last game. So as always,
This one's definitely for me.
As always, you can vote multiple times if you want to put some of your channel bits in, and make sure that your favorite ends up winning. Everybody in the chat gets a free vote as well. And I don't know what happened with that hype train, whether it's already passed by or what, but we'll see what happens if a few people put some bits into this.
For those who are new to the stream, Oogna has been asked repeatedly not to interfere with whatever's going to happen in the arena today, which means I'm almost certainly going to have to go in there and do something.
Yeah, I mean,
We'll see. We'll see what happens. You've been
Good.
working very hard to
I have
ensure
been.
that everyone, to try and break this rumor that you're going to interfere in some way.
And I definitely don't have a crush on Basilisk at all.
absolutely not.
No.
Not remotely.
No. Mm-mm. Definitely would not do anything to fuck with her big event.
And I believe that you were confronted last game by
Yup.
a dwarf who was very upset that you're in town and wants to know what the hell your deal is.
I told
Wasn't
him I
that
was
the one
just
that I had to
fucking-
get in the face of? Like, hey,
Yes.
calm your butt down.
Yep.
Yes.
He was also like, and I am blanking on the wrestling promoter's name.
His name, I don't know what you're thinking of, but this dwarf's name was Vincent McDuaro.
Yes. Yes.
Sorry, wrestling must not go on tirade.
And you definitely didn't want to get on his bad side because he's one of the big fight promoters in the north.
Wreck my career.
Yep.
He's bought all the smaller stadiums and destroyed them.
Mm-hmm. We're lucky he hasn't
I
bought
mean,
out the one in Mud Hollow yet.
I mean, probably has an interest.
Probably.
Well, that's how he buys them. He buys out all their talent, so they don't have,
Exactly. Makes them all wrestle under his. I mean, pit fight under his.
and broadcasts. He scries the matches across the U.S. when used to we had territories. Yeah.
Okay, so so like the crowd is now getting quite large, and I can't remember. I think at the end of last game, I actually have the fighters show up.
I think so.
Make their entrance. I think I already did.
Yeah.
But just to reiterate, since it's been a while, Basilisk, the local champion, comes into a great fanfare. And she is a halfling-sized imp, what is sometimes called an imp, but basically a halfling-sized tiefling with wicked long blade-like claws on like hands and feet, and basically kind of runs on all fours and scampers straight up into the platforming and rope work of this place, and is like clinging to a post, like looking vicious. The face full of fangs.
I'm very impressed. I look over at Oogna and I nod approvingly.
I give you a yeah. Sort of like, see what I'm talking about kind of look.
Very, very metal.
Yep.
And of course, accompanied by an entourage of dwarven warriors from Rockspire, the hugely muscled Dwayne the Rock Thunderfist.
I hate it.
With his eyebrow arched.
Just permanently stuck like that.
Permanently, yep. Looking down his nose at everyone, flexing his fists. He's like, it's all like
abs on his
style.
fists.
He's got abs on his fists, on his knuckles. Just extra muscles that aren't anatomically accurate everywhere.
My brain just went to a wrestler who actually did get like ab implants, and I'm trying not to name check someone.
But they're like on his hands.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, they look real bad.
Oh no.
God damn
Where are
it.
we at here?
Are they just like silicone abs?
I don't know. They just look really weird and wrong, and they just don't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Looking at that, that pole's looking pretty tasty. Okay.
I am scared.
And so as you're basically settled in here, Tromlin, you're at this point, we'll say basically trying to decide exactly whether you had said you were going to slip away, and we kind of ended there. So you can kind of do what you want to do.
What I had been doing was going to the ships initially, and then I was informed my father was there.
Yeah. And
I had a temptation to go confront him, but I'm not going to because this is for Oogna. I gotta do Oogna needs answers about her mom. And so I'm not going to do that. Also, if I confront my father, I'm probably gonna end up in stocks for slitting his fucking throat.
We can get you out of that. It'll be fine.
It's just a little murder of one of the nobles of the realm. That's fine.
No big deal.
It just occurred to me that you had rolled for who you were worshiping today, and I don't remember who it was.
Oh.
Well, let's just do it again. I would roll off my actual D30, but my child has taken all my dice, but the dice I got for Christmas, and they are literally scattered across the entirety of our house. We bought her oversized dice. Those weren't enough. She stole literally the entire box of mine.
Excellent.
I'm just picturing like a cat has like a bunch of dice stored under the
The cats have been going ballistic because they are in every room.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a little toddler niche of dice somewhere.
I rolled an actual 30.
Wow.
Huh.
Well, okay. Well, that's interesting because 30 is indeed one we've had before. It's Mork.
Should we roll?
No, I actually think this might have been the one you had last time because I vaguely remember you when Sir Godfrey left, you gave him like
Oh,
a blessing of Mork. So I think this is probably
Yes.
correct.
the
So
dice really
Mork
want
is
Mork to be your god of the day.
the goblin
Mork-
god of cunning and trickery,
I have
often
Mork 2 days in a
associated with
row.
insanity and paranoia, but also sneaking and spying. His symbol is a leering goblin face.
Well,
Good.
considering I'm trying to sneak onto a fucking elven boat, that is perfect.
Mhm.
So you are going to go sleep now towards the quay and check out these
Yeah,
boats?
despite all my pent up anger from an entire lifetime, Oogna needs answers, and
Aw.
that is going to take priority.
In that case,
So-
I'm going
So
to...
is Perny in charge of the stand? Is Perny in charge of the stand? This is very
The
important
food
to Perny
stand?
to know.
There is no
Food stand.
stand right now.
Yes?
I'm not doing the stand today.
Yeah, you guys are in the stadium.
Right.
I thought we were selling in the stadium. I thought that was
But
Oh,
not,
I hadn't-
not with a stationary stand, but with like the cigar cellar boxes
Yeah.
that Timothy and
Oh,
Timothy have,
Right.
and they're now moving around and hawking.
And I initially had tried that, but then I was giving out more cash in change than I was taking in, and I was asked to stop.
So okay, yeah.
Oogna is
So-
wearing the sponsorship jacket.
From
I-
the Tusks Corps.
Perny has a list of gimmicks he wants to try for selling food goods. So when he has an opportunity to do that, he'll take it. But otherwise, I'm going to stay out of the way of an actual scene happening.
Well, in fact, you well, what we'll say is, I think that Tromlin had made a bunch of food goods to sell. So
I gave them all to all of you.
yeah, you can basically have one of these like cigar sellers strap platform boxes with a bunch of like the meat skewers that Tromlin was making yesterday. So Tromlin, you're heading down towards these boats, following after Glorpa's raven form as she goes, "I'll lead you down there," and flies off in that direction. And as you're heading towards the boats, you run into, not literally, but Fettid coming up the other way from the sewers.
I just did some cool trap shit. What are you up to?
Glorpa had a dream about some boats, and the boats are actually in the harbor. So I'm going to go investigate.
Ooh, okay. That sounds interesting. I'm gonna come with you.
Down to the last half a minute or so here on this poll.
Yeah, it was basically a dream that centered on what we think, or what she thinks might have been her mom.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Interesting.
I'm investigating to see if it ties into that weapon she received or what. Either way. Also, my father and my family are here in town for the fight.
Okay.
And on one hand, I should avoid them for my own safety. On the other, I
Yeah.
want them to kill all of them.
I mean, we could try.
Let's do what helps Oogna first, because
Yes.
she has been good. She has been good to us, and she needs this. She needs these answers.
Yeah, that's usually the right thing to do, is to help people before you do murders.
Tromlin is also obviously barely holding back his urge to just run back with a knife.
I mean, I've got 2 knives. We could knife it up.
This is probably the first time in the entire campaign my character's been like, "No, let's kill people. Let us commit murders."
Can
Time and place for murder,
Can
and
I
this is
offer
it.
through? Can I offer through PernyNet to like? Would you like some moral support to go with you?
To murder?
Or not murder, whatever. I'm here as an advocate for you. And whatever you tell me that's how I'll support you.
Has Perny ever told Tromlin, like, is his dad Perny's son?
No, we've never talked about the number of generations. We've never talked about the number of
Perny
generations.
has always been very vague.
Yes.
Yeah.
His
Yes, he
grand
has.
funkle something.
Sometimes he's my granduncle, sometimes he's my grandfather, and I don't really know. I just keep calling the bucket my grandmother. And I know last session, Tromlin did a lot of bonding with the bucket. which is a weird ass sentence to escape my lips right now. But no, it happened.
I
I
think
like to
that
think-
Perny has been deliberately vague about the number of branches and the number of generations of branches between you and him, and I think Grandfunkel has been the most consistent thing that he has called himself.
Yeah.
And you are his grand nugget.
That's
Right.
fair. Tromlin will continue to refer to Perny as Grandpa because fuck it, why not? Like,
He's never
At this
corrected you.
No.
it's
Yeah.
not like I ever had one before. So
Perny operates a lot by not correcting people and encouraging them to believe the wrong thing as
Yep.
indirectly as possible.
just keep an eye on them. That's all I
Okay.
ask. I mean, they are not a high priority. They're lower priority than the fight and Oogna's safety and you not getting murdered by my grandmother or the lady of the city.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, if you need help, just call and I'll be there in a jiff.
I appreciate it, Granddad. Let's go check out some boats that we were absolutely not invited on.
I like that they're both Perny's exes for different reasons.
Yeah. I think Perny's through a combination of being like a goofy dad, and then also through it just makes good sense. I think he's going to be pretending to do like security, like touching his ear, and then like using PernyNet to like I've got eyes on whatever as we progress through the scenes. So every 5 minutes or so, the PernyNet activates for responses if anyone has intel to drop in. But otherwise, assume he's doing that, and it's really both annoying and very hammy. And he's also not explaining what his code names for things are, so
You're
it's
just
very
confusing
unclear who
Oogna.
the eagle is.
Yeah, you're very much confusing Oogna at this point. Every time you talk about the eagle has landed, she's like looking at the sky.
I see ravens.
Yeah, I don't see any eagles.
Cool.
There's an Arakocra over there. Is that who you mean?
So for those who are new to the stream and wondering what PernyNet is, that's the fact that Copernicus's Pact of the Tome allows him to write in his large book and have those words be spoken into the minds of those who have signed the book, which includes our party members.
It's definitely not
everyone in
Infernal
the party
Magic.
now.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and it's definitely not Infernal Magic.
No, definitely not.
And I don't think you've ever even tried to explain why people just hear your voice in their minds sometimes.
No one's asked me, and I'm very grateful for that.
It's like Twitter, but for your brain.
Brain Twitter.
Mm-mm.
So we have now effectively neatly split the party.
Great.
As Oogna and Copernicus are still with Timothy and Tomothy in the stands as the match gets underway. Tromlin and Fettid are following Glorpa in her bird form down towards the elven ships at the harbor. So excellent. So let's start with the match. It
Are we
doesn't
safe to
take
look at the
much
chat
longer.
again?
What's that?
Are we safe to look at the chat?
Yep,
Cool.
it is now safe to get back in the chat.
Meow.
The poll is finished. It is complete. So now basically the crowd is at critical mass and the fighters have been introduced and the announcer steps forward. So the announcer is a somewhat seedy looking wizard all in black with a little pointy beard that's been waxed to a little curl. And slicked down black hair. He looks like a wizard who kind of wishes he was a vampire, or at least really digs that aesthetic. A nice extreme widow's peak. And he points his wand at his throat in order to magically amplify his voice, a la Harry Potter. And he goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to pit fight." And everybody is like, "Ah." And there's just a roar from the crowd as the dwarven entourage steps back into the little alcove way that they came out of, leaving just Dwayne Thunderfists, who now gets his his hammers ready for the fight, and adjusts his armor and heads out. Meanwhile, of course, Basilisk is already up in the rope ladders and immediately leaps completely off of a platform, grabbing a rope in the process, and swings down, holding onto the rope with her like prehensile feet and slashing with the finger blades. And the crowd just roars as there's just like a immediate going for the throat here, and there's an immediate so there's just a roar of excitement that immediately stops dead as one of the hammers is thrown and meets her like mid attack and stops the attack dead. All momentum lost from this rope as the hammer thuds into her. But she's on her feet immediately. Dwayne is charging, but she is so much faster as she just immediately runs straight up one of the poles again. And he begins to climb after as she is like moving beyond the range of throwing his hammers.
So this whole time, Perny, Oogna, not much of a conversationalist. She'll talk, but she's not up for like analysis. Her brain seems to like switch on. And she's giving you stats. She's giving you different like techniques. Oh, look at that technique there. That's a really good one. And you're getting like basically the most sports commentary that you've had.
This is perfect. I'm picturing the two of you basically now lean forward in one of the boxes, pull out like little headsets, and can now.
Good.
Oogna is going to be the play-by-play.
Yes, and you're the color commentator.
Copernicus is the color commentator.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah, with just far too many puns. That's the only way that I.
I expect some role playing from this. So you need to come up with some hammer puns real quick here.
Well, so the thing that I wanted to pitch for the
you can't just hammer those out, Lane. Come on.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I wanted to pitch hammer and cheese sandwiches as one of the foods we could have in the cigar boxes.
Nice.
And I have more in the list, but I can save those. Oh, that's perfect. I can use this as an opportunity to like pitch the snacks.
Oh, good.
Just like mention in passing.
Yep. I will propose, because it's hilarious, that somebody spend a hero point, and say that the announcer guy, trips and points his amplification wand in the wrong way, and just your commentary just becomes the stadium commentary for the match.
I'll spend a hero point on that.
Okay, I was gonna say I could spend it, but
I have a hero point?
Need one.
You do. Everyone has a hero point right now.
Yeah, I'll spend mine.
Cool.
Excellent.
I may save mine for heroing out on the field because we might need them.
I will immediately give you an inspiration for that.
Nice.
Awesome. I also just realized that so we are all on the lookout for like what is going to be the thing that Lane's going to do. It's going to make Oogna get involved in the fight. And then we volunteered and used up valuable resources to already have her influencing the fight by live commenting it, and everyone can hear. And I have a feeling there's gonna be a lot of like vivid descriptions of like Basilisk's body in motion and like the.
Look at that lithe movement. Like you don't see movement like that. That takes a lot of training to get that level of speed and agility out of a match like this, especially with those claws to contend with. But it is an aerial match, so those will tell in the long run. It's a question whether or not Dwayne's sort of toughness can keep up with all the leaps. It's very agile work. Tires you out quickly.
Alina?
Yep.
Is Basilisk your old Shadowrun character?
Yes. Maybe.
Nice.
Oh, God damn it.
I forgot you were in that campaign.
Yeah, I was playing the gnome.
Yes.
Yep.
I was playing the conspiracy theorist by
tinfoil
Shadowrun
hat
standards.
gnome.
Yeah, tinfoil.
Yeah.
I forgot that you recreated Basilisk for that campaign. Jeff was in that campaign as well.
Yeah, you were our cat shaman.
And Lar de Souza.
Yep. That was a good game.
It was a fun game. It just hit me like, I know who the fuck this is.
I wish
Sorry.
Yep.
I love that character.
No one cares about me.
She was great.
That's a good deal. Yes.
Yep. Most of the jokes in this game are primarily to amuse me.
It's
And I just
D&D,
hope that
Yeah.
translates through the stream.
Isn't that old D&D?
Actually, I think Oogna is actually going to be a pretty good commentator here, because Oogna is kind of, despite being really into Basilisk, Oogna is also a huge fan of Thunderfist.
I mean, I've never beaten him. He's amazing. He's like the hero from the East.
You've never even fought him.
No.
You I believe in your background it says that you once made the trip out to Rockspire
To see him
specifically
fight.
to see him fight.
Yeah, but I didn't actually get out. I was too early in my career yet.
This is like just the worst possible match for you, because it's like your biggest, fan following versus the one that you're, into.
Mm-hmm. It's good. I'm a fairly impartial commentator, and I have all these like insider insights to this, where I'm like, well, you don't often see that out on the pitches. There's a real tough thing to pull off in the middle of a battle. Usually, you got to train for at least a minimum of 4 or 5 years before you can do it with that sort of fluidity. Like Oogna's pulling out words that she would never use in a normal conversation.
Mhm.
And we'll have to wait and see if if Dwayne can strike another blow, or if he'll be known in this fight as the one-hit wonder fist.
Ah, good one.
Since you spent a hero point on this, I'm going to say, actually, you start to notice that people in the crowd that had been kind of like looking suspiciously at Oogna now and again have like relaxed. Like you're starting to you get the impression, okay, people are starting to think, oh, this is why
That's why
the
she's
Bone
here.
Crusher randomly showed up. It's because they're doing this new thing. This new magical commentary during the match. Interesting.
Celebrity commentary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. It's a celebrity. It's like a, it's like when maybe this is the Bone Crusher retiring to become a commentator.
Also, if at any point there is a break, yes, if there's a break in between any of the sets where they like catch their breath for a second, I'm gonna get up and like do my sponsorship thing, show off the logo on the back of my shirt.
Yep. And everyone assumes that this is also part of the.
Mm-hmm.
This is just deliberate. Excellent. Okay, yeah. So early on, it looks like really, like a standstill battle, because it seems like Basilisk doesn't want to get down in range of Thunderfist's hammers, but Thunderfist is slow and armored, so he can't like flip around and do the acrobatics in the air. But that only lasts for like the first few feeling out passes. Then suddenly Thunderfist puts on a burst of speed as he basically starts using some of his other class abilities, because Thunderfist has levels in Barbarian, so he just starts, like, despite his plate armor, scaling his way. Of course, mithril plate not giving him any penalties. He manages to basically like monkey bar his way up into the rigging, find a good central platform to like plant himself on, and now he has the range to throw hammers all over the place. And Basilisk basically has to start coming in and mixing it up, or risk just staying at range and getting picked down, because Basilisk doesn't have a lot of ranged attack options.
Look at that good strategy there.
I haven't seen this many hammers since I visited Sir Godfrey's Cranny, which is known for its many fine hardware tools.
Yeah, Sir Godfrey's nanny cranny hammer jammer. Come on down. Check it out.
Timothy face palming in the audience, in the crowd.
Well, look at the strategy in that. Like up until now, she's been keeping him at range. But now she's gonna have to close, and she's tired herself out that first half. So I think Dwayne's endurance is gonna start to really tell in this next half. We're gonna really see how long she can hold out.
Yeah, and in fact, prophetically, from your words, it starts to really show on Basilisk, as Basilisk now has to like do these lightning attacks, come in, get in a slash, get the hell out, all the while dodging the hammers, which magically return to Thunderfist's fists.
Hammer brother.
Yeah. Cool hammer, brother. They're known as the People's Hammers.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
And Basilisk is clearly, visibly starting to tire.
She needs to find a fire flower.
Yep.
That's the best solution.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the thing when you're fighting on these platforms.
But Basilisk looks like she could use some refreshments, such as the award-winning Basilisk lollipops, available only at Tusk's Cranny and Concession.
They'll turn you to stone with how good that flavor is.
Oh, good one.
Oh, this is delightful. Delightful to me. I don't know if the audience appreciates it, but I sure hope so. But that's all that matters. And so as Basilisk begins to visibly tire, Thunderfist starts to go on more of an offensive. He now pulls out one of his like larger battle hammer, which is not meant for throwing, and starts to like maneuver from platform to platform. Oh, what was that?
It's not the good throwing
a big
hammer.
not for throwing decal on the side.
Yeah. It's got a big "do not throw," like the silicone packets that say "do not eat."
Good.
It's got that one on the other side.
This end up in someone's head.
Or external use only.
Oh no, that external becomes internal real fucking fast.
It's true.
And he starts sort of making his way from platform to platform, closing, and basically starting to maneuver Basilisk into a corner of the three-dimensional space where it's going to be hard for her to get past him.
Man,
then go ahead.
I was just going to say, Dwayne's years of experience here are really starting to tell. He knows that Basilisk's main advantage here is her mobility, but he's forced into her corner there. She's going to have her work cut out for her trying to get out of that trap he's setting for her. And to do so, she's going to have to go real close to those hammers. So, well, we're going to see how this unfolds. It's a tough spot, though. I wouldn't want to be there myself.
No, I'd want to be down at the concession stand getting a nice hot bowl of lobster thunder bisque.
It's the biskiest.
It's
And
bisky.
then
Get some whiskey with your bisky.
out of nowhere, Basilisk suddenly
Oh my God.
I don't even know what the hell that was. Out of nowhere, Basilisk suddenly just launches herself, like runs, like on all fours, vertically up one of the poles, and launches herself up at the highest end of the ropework of the Erie, slashing free one of the larger nets of sort of the webbing between two of the platforms, and drops it like a fishing net onto the approaching Thunderfist. There's no way for him to avoid this like large space. He tries. He kind of like does a tuck and roll across one of the platforms, but the area of this net is big enough that he can't avoid it, and it drops around him. And the crowd just sort of like, largely local crowd, even if there are a lot of people here from away. So this gets the crowd just roaring. This move from Basilisk, just cheers all around you. People are standing and jumping, and you're kind of like trying to look around to see what's going on. And with that, I'll have a perception roll from each of you, from the two of you who are present.
Landed on his neck. Landed on his neck. Landed on his neck.
I got five whole fives.
You notice
Dirty 20.
a net. Okay, dirty 20. So
Nice.
you notice that a net is there.
Yes.
But I'm pointing at your pictures like you can tell where I'm pointing. What the hell am I doing?
It's all net, baby.
Discord.
All net. Nothing but net.
Oogna, you notice a net is there. But Copernicus, you notice that where the net has fallen upon Thunderfist, it's almost like it is sticking to him.
Ooh.
He's not just getting tangled in the net because it's a net, because this isn't like an actual fishing net or like fine wire net. This is a rope mesh that was meant to be climbed on between two platforms. It wasn't built to be a net, so it's fairly coarse. It's not something that really tangles up an opponent, but he's getting very badly tangled in it very quickly. And in fact, he looks to you at your angle like he should have fallen off the platform where he tucked and rolled and the net hit him. But it's almost like the net is stuck to the platform and it's stuck to his armor.
Huh.
And can I see any with my like magic vision? Can I see this being the effect of magic, or does it seem like it's a non-magical?
It is a magical net. You can see with your you switch to your you switch
vision.
your cyber vision, whatever you switch. You sort of go warlock eyes, go, or whatever warlocks do, and you in fact detect that there is magic at play with this net. And when you do kind of look around, like now magically, like your attention being brought to this in a way it wasn't before, you will actually notice that there are a couple other places throughout the platforms where there are like magical sections of this. So like there's like a rope bridge, like a bunch of boards on ropes between two of the platforms, and just that one rope bridge is magical. One platform on one of the poles, the actual wooden platform wrapped around the pole, is magical, and then this net is magical.
Interesting.
Do I know from memory, when I perny net to Oogna, does she reply by talking out loud, or does she reply in her head?
It's an even 50-50, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does Oogna have a filter? Let's ask that.
Yeah. That is the bigger question. Okay, so I'm not gonna ask her this because I have a feeling she'd say the answer out loud into the microphone. So I'm gonna write a message to Tromlin, who I'm assuming is en route, possibly occupied, but maybe he can answer, asking like, is it normal for there to be magically touched or tampered with equipment and obstacles in the arena, or is that cheating?
I don't even let the finish. No, there isn't. It isn't normal. That's not good. It's supposed to be literally brute force, unless it's specifically. I'm gonna make shit up. I'm sorry, Lane. Unless it's specifically like a wizard battle of some form, like the opponents are supposed to be somewhat evenly matched. Unless it's like an exhibition match, like wizard versus barbarian, sometimes that happens, or monk versus paladin. But no, it's generally two generally matched art styles or similar art styles. No, there should be no magic enhancement unless it's been announced before.
I'm going to have a quick chat with Oogna, but let us know if you have advice on what to do if we see this. Not a hypothetical. Your loving granduncle, Perny.
Meanwhile, outside Perny's brain, Oogna's been going, an amazing move by Basilisk there. I mean, a lot of people really underestimate how effective a net can be in this kind of close quarters combat. I've used one several times myself. They're going to be a little unwieldy to wield, but once you get them really wrapped around there, like that can change the entire game. And it seems to here, Dwayne hasn't got up yet, and I thought he'd be back on his feet in an instant.
And speaking of being back in an instant, we're going to take a short break, going to enjoy some delicious poutine a la Thunder frites and empanadas, and then we will be right back with you. And I'm going to kill the feed.
Okay, bye!
Oogna, I don't want to alarm you, but I've noticed that there's some magically tampered with equipment on the field there, and I don't know if we should report it or what we should do.
That's against all the regulations.
The net that Thunderfist is trapped in, that board there. I'm going to point out a few of the things and say, and I don't know what the protocol is here. I also don't want to get anyone in trouble if this is, we don't know how this happened. I'm waiting to see if Tromlin has any ideas.
I'm instantly looking for, because like I know that Sal manages the mud pit. Do I know who manages this arena?
I mean, so so Sal is the trainer.
Right.
Like the actual arena is kind of run by the government, basically. The lords of the city. It's the whole bread and circuses thing. You've got the arena so you can kind of keep people happy with.
Oh God, is it going to be Nightshade?
Well, so like you imagine Nightshade probably doesn't give a shit, but the whatever bureaucracy runs Ravenfall would certainly ensure that this arena has always been here and running. But within the quarters of the arena, there are trainers here. Unlike Mud Hollow, where there's only one, where there's just Sal, there's several different training schools here, and you are quite familiar with a couple of them.
All right.
Oh, the fighting school that my family member runs is that one of them?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
But there's not like a
might.
Your cousin, I believe we had said.
Ah.
Yeah. Okay.
But there's not like a ref
his
for this
name
match
again.
that's
Your
like on
cousin-
site.
Yeah, your cousin Felix. Felix.
Oh, Felix Sunshine. Yeah.
Sonnenschein.
Okay. Well, I'll keep him in my back pocket if I need to run and tell someone who would know what to do about this. But I'm gonna follow Oogna's lead because this is much more her world. I just have the
This
information.
is what I do. Yeah, there's not like a ref nearby, is there?
There are sort of like soldiery around the edges of the arena that would, if someone tried to like run on the field and interfere with the match, for example, they would certainly try and stop that from happening. It doesn't have like referees in kind of the traditional sense.
Right.
But you know that there are like local, wizards around. Like if someone tried to like, pull out a wand of fireballs or something in the middle of the match, there would be definitely something would be done. You would imagine the soldiery is probably here more likely because there are so many, important people here who would be like, want to be protected. So for example,
they don't want like a satyr wandering up and stabbing one of them in the face.
trying to assassinate one of the nobles.
I know what you're talking about.
I have no idea.
And I feel targeted. I feel insulted.
Yeah, some of the guards are even wearing "No Satyr Assassins" t-shirts.
I came here to
my
have
favorite
a good
band.
time, and I'm feeling really attacked right now.
Good band.
It's racist.
Yeah. I don't know.
And
Perny, can you like make magic unstop?
only when it's being cast, not after.
Oh, okay.
I'm assuming I can't counterspell an actively enchanted.
No, you dispel magic is the spell you would need, and I don't remember if you have that one.
No, I
But
don't
that
have that.
reminds me of something. I have friends in low places. Do I know any shady street mages I can try to contact? Well, I couldn't get to them in time because the match is going on. By the time they got there, the match will be done.
No, but I will say, when we cut, in fact, this is probably a good time to cut back to you guys. You do have plenty of friends in low places amongst the wharf rats that are found around the shipyards, the quays. So as you get closer to the ship that Glorpa is now circling to sort of go, this is the one. Fettid and Tromlin, you can now see it's actually this really huge, beautiful vessel that clearly was constructed with magic because it's all of the wood of this vessel is like white as snow and shaped in the form of this giant graceful swan with the decks above and the sails above that.
Oh, shit. I turned to Fettid like, you can summon a shitload of little critters, can't you?
I can. What do you have in mind?
Something shady is going on in the battle arena right now.
Mhm.
Someone has enchanted the nets. It's basically someone's fixing a fight.
Yeah.
And this is either get someone killed or ruin someone's career or come back to Glorpa, even though she's not a spellcaster, but everyone's freaking out about her being here.
Or
But if
Oogna.
that arena were to flood with a lot of animals suddenly, they would have to stop the match to clear it out.
That is a very good point. How far away from the arena are we?
Like, it's been probably about like half an hour or so since you left. So you're most of the way down to the wharf, but not like depending on what kind of beasts you summoned.
Yeah. Let's see. How does summon beast work? Do I get to pick what kind of thing I summon?
Yeah. So your gathered swarm won't leave you particularly far. I think summon beast could be used to summon something like an insect swarm.
Mm.
Or at
so.
the very least, I imagine I would allow you to spend something to goose that, because it's kind of based on, what is it
It's
here?
thematically appropriate for a swarm master.
True.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think there may actually be a summon swarm spell. At least I've seen a homebrew one. I'm not sure if it's in Summon Beast is from Tasha's Cauldron.
And
Summon bees.
doesn't Glorpa have similar abilities?
No, not this kind of spell. But
Can Glorpa get Fettid closer?
if you pick a flying beast, it's going to be about the same kind of speed. So
Swarm
it's
of bees.
it's a small beast, like small-sized creature that you can summon. But I would allow you to drop. God, I don't even know if you dropped a hero point, it would be like a ridiculous swarm. But if you even drop just say an inspiration, I would let you summon like a swarm of insects or a swarm of other flying pests.
Yeah, I think bees would be a good choice. So I'll spend an inspo to
Sweet.
summon some bees.
Sorry, I just thought of every baseball game or sporting event where a cat's gotten on the field and they have to stop everything.
Yep.
Can we call this Plan B?
Oh, good.
Is that what we can call this plan?
Good.
Yes.
Nice.
Perfect.
We've got a nice hive mind going on. Let's go.
Plan A is when you get a swarm of Canadians to rush the ice.
Oh god. Go to jail.
Just imagining these Molotov cocktails, but it's all like molasses bottles.
Mm-hmm. Just maple syrup.
Yeah, I'm gonna call the stats of a swarm of insects are close enough to a small beast. I'm just gonna let you drop an inspiration
right.
to basically use summon beast and get a swarm of insects.
Okay.
Because there is no actual summon swarm spell in the canon. There's definitely some homebrew versions of it, but
Yeah.
cool. So you are going to summon a swarm of bees and give them the instructions of what?
I don't wasps.
I'm gonna say go. Just create a whole bunch of havoc in that stadium. Go
Good.
nuts.
They can
Sting
do that.
everybody.
Cool.
I will then. Can I reply to Perny? Bees are coming. Take shelter.
Bees incoming. Excellent.
Look, I'm a
few minutes
fixer.
of-
I'm not a great fixer, but I come up with plans. They're not good plans.
But their plans.
Well, the nice thing about having warning is that it gives Fernie more time to think of puns. He's obviously not going to warn anyone that this is about to happen. Maybe Oogna. He'll warn Oogna.
Drone
that
attack!
There's a swarm of bees coming, but I mean, if it looks like he knows about it, then that will be suspicious. So he's just going to start scrawling bee puns in his notebook. Which, again, if he is if he's not careful, that will start coming through his messages that he's sending people.
Look, it's good to be prepared.
Excellent. This is very good.
A real queen.
Now with that 20 perception that you rolled, Perny, as you continue to watch what's going on in the fight.
Does either fighter seem to be? Do their movements at all seem to be aware of which things are like tampered with? Like, does Basilisk? And in retrospect, thinking back to Basilisk jumping up to that particular net, did that seem really intentional?
It was the net that was over Thunderfist, so there's that.
Yeah.
Like it was definitely intentional that she dropped the net on him. You're not 100% sure if she knew that it was magical or not.
It wasn't like
she hasn't gone towards either of the platforms that are magical. Neither of them has. They're both higher up in the arena though, so it does make sense that neither of them has gone up to those platforms at this point. but it could be deliberately avoiding. You'll notice that Thunderfist has gotten to his feet, but remains tangled in the net and can't see, and it just seems to be thrashing at the net itself. While Basilisk now has begun resuming the lightning attacks and has basically been like diving in, slashing with the blades, and ducking back out again, and has scored a number of hits. And the crowd is really going wild because like Basilisk seems to be dominating the fight right now.
I'm going to can I use message on Basilisk, because technically Basilisk is visible.
What's the range?
I've got my Ring of Sorcery, so I'll double it if I need to.
Because it's a cantrip, right?
Yeah.
So it's probably short range. Oh no, 120 feet.
I can double that with the Ring of Sorcery.
Then definitely you can reach then with the sorcery point.
So I'm going to send a message saying that.
Well, hang on. Before you do, I'm going to tell you what you notice, because it might change what you decide to put into your message. So you, because you are closely observing what's going on with this net, can make me an Arcana check.
Ooh.
Okay. Nat 20, and I have a 10 modifier.
Ooh. Okay, so you have noticed that the net almost like seems to be moving. Like obviously it's moving because Thunderfist is like rolling around and he's got the net on him, but it's not entirely moving as it should with his movements. And you realize with that amazing roll that net is a mimic. And
no.
the net that are flexing you kind of saw little flashes on it. They're tiny teeth. And parts of the net that are flexing are biting him. He is being bitten by
You know what? You know what would help this situation? If I was trapped in a net that was biting me and alive, I would want a swarm of bees to also be attacking me. So the good thing is that we have the situation handled.
Yeah.
And it's going to go great.
Everything's going according to plan.
And I'm going to message Basilisk that the net on Thunderfist is a mimic. The arena and the fight have been tampered with. Stop the fight. That's what I'm going to say. And I'm going to see what Basilisk does.
Interesting.
I believe in the people that Oogna believes in, and Oogna believes in Basilisk, and I think that they would not continue this fight if they knew it was tampered with. And this is giving them the chance to do the right thing before things go too far. And the bees arrive.
Now the question is, or one question that occurs to me is, does Basilisk know what a mimic is? So I'm going to make a roll. Oh yeah, that's actually a pretty good roll. So base roll is 14, even with a little bit of knowledge stat.
She's not dumb. She's just feral.
Skill. Yeah, I think she might be able to figure out what that means. Okay, so you've sent that word. You also actually, I'll get a separate perception roll from both of you, you and
Oogna. 12.
8, but I think I'm gonna inspiration.
Go for it. You've got 2 inspirations.
13.
Nice.
13 total.
I might throw one on mine. I don't get a bonus on mine, but I've got 3. I might as well use them. This is my other die.
Ernie's not a noticer.
Oh, 19.
See, that was a much well used inspiration.
Well spent inspiration.
And I'll just remind the chat and the audience that the bit counter that you can see that's around 20 or so percent is actually going to be logging any bits that you cheer on our players with, and whenever that rolls over to 100, everybody gets another inspiration. So you have the ability to potentially influence the inspirations these players have. Just throwing that out there. And with your 19, okay, I was going to say with your 12, and I'll say this to Copernicus now, with your 13, that you notice bees. So a swarm of bees has crested the top of the bleachers of the arena, of these like raised high stone seats, and is now descending down through the crowd, and a few screams have begun in that particular region. But Oogna, you are busy paying attention to this net, and the crowd and the whole fight, and you notice that here and there through the crowd, a number of people are starting to kind of look like, what the hell's going on, and pointing and talking to each other, pointing at Thunderfist, and are potentially starting to notice that something weird is going on. As Thunderfist starts to have like new wounds beginning to sprout as he continues to wrestle with this net, and has been now thrashing at the net, like he's hitting parts of the net with his hammers, somewhat seemingly ineffectually.
Perny, I think that net's alive or something.
How hard would it be for me to target the net with a banishment spell without hitting Thunder? Actually, either way, whichever one of them I hit, it's okay. But at this point, I'm visibly stopping the fight. But the thing is, so what do I know about how dangerous mimics are? Like, do I think a mimic could kill a pit fighter on its own?
Mimics are pretty tough.
But are we out of the someone did something to give someone an edge in the fight, and we're into this thing itself is meant to kill someone entirely on its own?
Knowing what little you do know about Thunderfist, you imagine he could probably take this thing.
Okay.
You rolled a nat 20. I could practically just give you its stats.
Okay.
Average 58 hit points. So they're not wussy.
Yeah.
But they're not, it's a challenge too.
If Dwayne's as tough as Oogna, then he can take it for several rounds, and he's likely tougher.
Oogna keeps telling you that she couldn't beat Dwayne. But obviously this is an unusual circumstance where he has also been fighting Basilisk and in fact currently kind of fighting both. So
he's also wounded and he's been engulfed.
Yeah,
it's definitely he's been grappled and he has not yet successfully escaped the grapple. But you also know that mimics are kind of adhesive when they are in their shapeshift form.
Yeah.
And in fact, everyone that gets disadvantaged to try and escape grappling from them. So it's not too surprising Thunderfist has not yet escaped.
Am I able to see Vincent McDarrow anywhere?
Yeah, I'll say he's somewhere in some prominence. There's one of the major boxes has the Dwarven contingent in it, and McDarrow is in there with them.
Can I detect surface thoughts on him? I want to know if he's surprised or not.
Ooh, good call.
Interesting. This is a big enough deal that I'm going to give him the saving throw, because this is not something he would want to be detected. I have rolled a 2, which is 10% of the maximum I can roll on a d20. So he absolutely fails, and you actually get internal cackling.
Oh, okay.
Like satisfaction.
I am going to tell Oogna, I think this fight was tampered with by McDarrow. I'm hoping Basilisk calls it off, but in the meantime, I've got something I've got to do. I'm going to run up to him as quickly as I can.
You're making your way through the crowd, because you've got to get around to that. This isn't going to happen instantly.
He's going to get into the crowd and stuck, and then Oogna's just going to pick him up and stick him on her shoulders and just football push her way through the crowds.
Plow through the crowd.
One hand forward, holding Perny on the shoulder, just going straight through.
This side of the arena is now starting to be pandemonium as the bee swarm starts to spread through the crowd, and people are yeah, bees. Everyone's doing their best Nick Cage impression, and in the forward parts of the crowd, people are shrieking and screaming as Oogna plows through, pushing people left and right out of the way.
Excuse me, pardon me, excuse me, sorry.
Yep. And all around the amphitheater people are starting to do like, I knew it. There's something going on. Something going on. Bone Crusher over there. Meanwhile, Perny, from your wonderful vantage point of dangling like a sack of potatoes over Oogna's shoulder, you can see that Basilisk is looking confusedly around, having no idea who has sent, where this message came from, or whose voice this message was in, or whatever's going on, and is just stopped and is just watching Thunderfist fighting with this mimic net, and looks very not as confused as you would expect, maybe more conflicted.
Oh, good. I'll take even if Basilisk can foreknowledge, I will take like not willing to openly prey on this. At least if I'll take that as a good sign.
Mm-hmm.
We all have a moment of weakness.
Mm-hmm.
And you are now plowing through the crowd closer and closer to Vincent.
Actually,
Vince,
Oogna with a
as his
cow
friends call him.
catcher,
Basically.
attached to the front of her.
Yep.
Halflings flying.
Yeah, crowd is part. I mean, there's people like away from the bee swarm. People are like gripping their seats because now they're like, "Oh, what's gonna happen? What?" This is the part where you're watching, like you're at the pro wrestling match, and somebody's like come running in from
the
We are
wings.
now
And you're
in,
like, "What's
in
happening?"
late 90s, early aughts WWF/E.
Yep.
Yep.
As people are
Evil,
like, "Oh, what's gonna happen?"
evil company head run in. We just need to have Oogna crush a beer can against her head. And scream, "That's the bottom
Yep.
line."
Yep. Stone Cold Oogna.
See,
Okay.
that's what used to be your dwarf. That
Oh,
should
hell
be the
yes.
Stone Cold.
Yes.
And you have a Goliath as the.
To be honest, I originally named Dwayne Thunderfist Dwayne and didn't make the connection.
Oh shit!
Good.
I just picked a
amazing.
dwarf name.
Good.
Like that's literally
that's
a dwarf name out of the Vergatal, the Icelandic epics with the list of dwarf names.
That makes it better. I'm not gonna lie. That makes it.
Agreed.
That never mind. You did the right
Fair
thing.
enough.
Just
Yep.
accidental pun.
Yep.
It's perfect.
I think it was one of you that went The Rock, and I went, "Yep, clearly that is what I intended all along." Right. So, meanwhile, as you're plowing through here, and we'll leave the chaos of the amphitheater behind for a moment. Meanwhile, Tromlin and Fettid, you've made your way to this ship. There are various elven guards on, like there's an elven crew on decks, but also like a couple of elven guards standing guard at the quay. There's a gangplank down from the ship, and they're standing guard by it. They are extremely well appointed, like golden mithril ceremonial garb, filigree, and these spear-like weapons that have almost like a sword-like blade attached to them. They're clearly meant to be used like a big sort of whirling, strange martial arts weapon. What do you want to do? Glorpa has clearly been circling and clearly indicating the particular ship that she mentioned from her vision.
How alert do these guards look?
Fairly. They're sort of it's very I'm trying to remember the word for them is, but like tower guard, like City of London, ceremonial guards that stand without blinking, and then people come up and go like, "Oh, it's funny, I'll poke them," until they like, put a gun in their face and tell them to back off. Yeah, it's like that. But without the ridiculous hats. They have different ridiculous hats. They have much more elfin ridiculous hats. Like tall, ornate Smurf hats.
Okay. Are there any other obvious ways onto the ship? Can I make
For you, yeah, because like you are like small and sneaky and would have no qualms about like
The bilge.
swimming around, or like
Right.
in the refuse filled bay harbor around to some, to the rudder or to some rope hanging down, and it's pretty easy to climb up onto a ship, even one of these weird elf ships that doesn't have as many obvious ropes and things hanging everywhere.
So I gotta figure out how to get on there. Do I see people coming in and out?
No, right now there's crew on the ship. Actually, no, you know what? Actually, there will be, while you're watching for a while and kind of trying to figure out what to do, or how to approach this ship, you'll actually see some dock workers bringing supplies up to the foot of the gangplank and then setting them there. And then after a while, a couple of elves from the crew will come down, pick up a few sacks or a barrel and then take it up the gangplank. So there's clearly some degree of restocking on the ship going on here.
Okay. So is there a way I can get to a place where I can see?
Oh, sorry. I just have to say, because someone in the chat was referring to the British guards are beef eaters, but obviously these are elves, so leaf eaters.
Oh no!
God.
Oh no!
Motherfucker.
Their hats look like
Anyone
leaves.
beat me to that in the chat.
Oh, Jesus Christ. So like the deck has a whole lot of shit on it, basically.
It's a poop
Yeah, a
deck.
bit.
Not
Does
yet.
it look like if I was on the deck, I might be able to at least sneak around using various places, like
It's
for cargo?
actually very clear, like, because it's an elf ship, it's all like extremely tidy. So
Hmm.
right now, because they're in the process of moving boxes and crates and stuff onto the deck, there's like an area of clutter, but that's it. So yeah, no, you wouldn't be able to hide in a crowd, sort of thing. You would
Okay.
need to do something more significant.
All
I
right.
do
I
believe
mean,
you can turn invisible for a while.
I do, but I want to save that.
Yeah.
Are there portals? Portals, I mean?
In the at the rear of the ship, there are into like the cabins at the
Are the
back.
I'm going to attempt to sneak by and surreptitiously look in the cabins.
That's going to involve sneaking past the guards on the quay or on the other side swimming. One of those two
I'll
options.
swim. I'll swim. I can take a bath
Yeah.
later. It's not the grossest thing I've been in, I'm sure.
Yep.
No,
I'm a rogue.
You've been around Fettid.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have attempted to wash Fettid's hair before, as I recall, early in this game. And I will use my new D&D dice that my sister gave me for Christmas. My big, heavy metal dice.
Yeah, give me a basic athletics check here for swimming and climbing, getting
Oh
around
shit.
this.
That is absolutely no modifier whatsoever.
Yeah, it is not your forte.
Yike. Oh, shit. That's not bad. 17. Like these dice.
That's totally sufficient for what you were attempting to do. And I'll get one from Fettid, although he's in a better shape.
That was a second nat 20.
Ooh.
You're like walking
So that
on the
is-
water. You're like
yeah.
basically stepping between floating garbage patches.
No,
Mhm.
you're doing
Sounds
like one of
about
those
right.
like Jesus Christ lizard things where you're just going like splat, splat,
Yep.
splat, splat, splat,
Yep.
splat, splat,
Yep.
splat on the water.
Flapping my feet as fast as I can.
As Tromlin slips in the water and is like, "Are you coming?" You like spread like previously unknown frills.
Yep. Even I didn't know that I had those.
and do the like the lean forward run.
Those are
double
for
across.
water
I'm
landings.
pretty sure that's actually basilisks. I
Yeah,
think that's actually
That's a basilisk.
their thing.
Front arms completely limp.
Nice. Yeah, so you guys, you make your way around the ship through the harbor, basically between this ship and the next quay, hiding amongst the refuse and stink that's floating around. And make your way to the far side of the ship. You can climb up with those rolls very easily. You can climb up to peek through some portholes. You can basically climb up the rudder and the ropes that control it, and get right to the aft end of the ship where there's basically windows.
Let's see. Would it make sense to cast Pass Without Trace before we get on the boat?
Yes, because we'll be leaving water.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Let's do that.
For sure. So you will be
I was-
exceedingly stealthy.
I was going to attempt a Misty Step onto the ship.
Yeah, you can do that too. Make me stealth rolls just to establish your sort of baseline here. And of course, add the 10 bonus from Pass Without Trace.
Fuck yeah.
Well, I rolled a 1.
Oh,
Oh
please,
no.
please roll that. Please.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Do I have any inspiration left?
You do have one
Yeah.
left.
All right, I've
I
got
Last
to
one.
spend mine for you if I had to.
I've got to do it.
Do I have
Anything better
advantage
than a
being
1.
a
All right.
rogue?
That's still not good, but it's not a 1. That is an 8, so an 18.
It's better.
Do I have advantage being a rogue?
Oh wait, no, that's without even adding my modifier.
Not for being a rogue, but I do believe you have. What is it that from your Oops, I'm looking at Fettid's character sheet. I'm like, wow, this all looks wrong. That explains why. You do have your trickery stuff, so I would allow you to Blessing of the Trickster yourself.
All right, I will do that.
That would give you advantage on the stealth roll.
Finally, a useful one. 30.
Whew.
Nice.
Wait, no, 30 plus.
Oh, you nat
39.
20?
Oh my
You nat
God.
20.
39.
Yeah, you are freaking invisible.
Lucky dice. Fettid can't see me anymore. It's gone.
Nope.
So where exactly are you trying to like Misty Step your way into the cabin? Because once you can see through a window, you can do that.
Yes, that was my goal.
Okay. So you Misty Step into a cabin and immediately like disappear amongst the things that are in here, which is good because there are people in this cabin. And Fettid, you slip your way up the side of the ship quite stealthily as well. So Tromlin, you are now inside the great cabin. So like the main body of the stern of the ship is one large room. And with like super low ceilings, like 5-foot ceilings where everyone has to like punch over really hard. But in this space, there is a number of like cushions and like rugs or other sort of kneeling surfaces hanging with like sashes and things. And there's a small group of elves sort of crouched or sat upon these cushions. And one of them is playing a harp, and the other two are enjoying some sort of meal. And you get the impression that these are very important people, that they've basically got their own harpist accompanying their repast.
Hate them.
Oh, the hype train has begun.
Hype.
Nice.
Get
We may
hyped.
we may see some new it's good timing because everybody's down a few inspiration. So yeah, you're now basically hidden kind of at the back of the room amongst a bunch of these cushions, like just completely buried. Like, I am one with the upholstery. And can listen in on the conversation between these elves, which is in Elvish, which I believe, if you don't understand it,
I speak Sylvan.
yes, that is related language, and you also have your linguist ability to potentially interpret unknown languages.
Yes.
I'll get you to make me a roll. So this will
Intelligence.
be int plus for your proficiency bonus. So a plus 4 total.
Okay. Here's hoping. I'm gonna re-roll that.
Spending inspiration.
Yeah, because that ain't gonna get me shit.
Okay,
Because that is a 5.
that's not very good.
Like that's with the plus 4.
Oh, so that's a
Ooh.
nat 1.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the better times to spend inspiration.
Tromlin.
Okay, that's better. That's a 22.
Quite a
Excellent.
bit better.
So you can actually get pretty much all the subtlety. You understand Sylvan, which means you can generally get by in Elvish, but with your linguist abilities, you have a very clear idea of what's being said. There's a few specific vocabulary words you don't understand, but for the most part, you know what's being said here. And they are discussing their diplomatic mission to speak with Nightshade. They are here to bargain for some kind of artifact or service, something that Nightshade has. You're not 100% sure exactly what it is. They keep using a specific Elven word for it, like a proper name. So you're not sure if that refers to an activity or a thing or a person even.
I will attempt to commit that word to memory so I can ask someone who does speak Elven. I'll even write it down real fast. Like, I need this or later.
And the word, by the way, the word is Maladvar.
Maladvar.
But I'll write that up.
Girl Scout cookies.
Let me write that down because I'm going to forget it in 5
I'm
minutes.
also writing it down. I got my little notes at the bottom of my sheet here.
Fernie has comprehend languages as a ritual, so I think if you say it to him once he's got that activated, he'll understand what you said. But yeah, I think we can
100%.
broken telephone this.
Oh my goodness.
Heck, I'm gonna give us all an inspiration.
Night train.
Oh my god. Okay.
Thank you, everybody.
Train. Everybody gets an inspiration from the hype
Heck yeah.
train.
Thank you, everybody. Well, I have no
And-
idea where the fuck Fettid's at either now.
No.
Oh,
And
we're both
they
getting
seem
from
to
each
have.
other.
You get the impression that they came here under sort of the pretense of coming to see the big match, to more or less disguise a secret diplomatic mission. And you get very clear impression that they have come from Elvenholm itself.
So there's two things I know about this. One, since the ship somehow involves Oogna's dream, it plays into that. So I need to find what they have on here that hints at either Oogna's parentage or that artifact that from her family. Two, there's shit to steal.
Oh yes, there's lots of really expensive
Fancy
elven
elf
stuff in this room. So for one thing, this I will say you already have a fairly big piece of information right now because Glorpa saw this vision in these mountains of black stone where the fight with the hill giant took place, and then panning down from the mountains to the sea below in the distance, the port where this ship was.
Right.
So you now have a pretty strong clue that this is at very least near Elvenholm.
And whatever
Right?
Oogna's mom was after is in Elvenholm.
Yeah, or Eldamar, the island that is the traditional homeland of the elves, or the
so
ancient
that's
homeland
where
of the elves.
So the ship is just a key, but it's not wherever the thing is.
Yeah, it's just all you know from Glorpa is that she saw this particular ship, or at least a ship that looked very like this with the same like flags and everything, at the port city that she saw
Now,
in her vision.
remind me, the artifact sword was whole in Glorpa's vision, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Because
So
the orc that is likely Oogna's mother pulled that sword out and used it to defeat the hill giant easily that she had been
and it like
battled to a
sucked out his
standstill with.
soul or something.
Yeah, it did something awful to him.
Oh, I just
and then
saw
she
something.
cursed it and put it back in its sheath.
So whatever she was after wasn't a piece of that sword. It might have been
I
this
just saw
Maladvar.
something, but I can't do it till I find Fettid again. So from my position, is there anything small and stealable?
Yeah, sure. Let's get like a nice sort of figure out the value of things roll. I'm going to suggest roll me. I'll get you 2 rolls. I want a perception roll, not persuasion. They sound similar, but
Give me
they're
a
not the
shit,
same.
guys.
Hey, you know what you should do? You should give me all your stuff. I mean, that is a thing that kind of works for you.
Like the elves are all about
with my
hospitality.
modifier, I got a 18.
18, okay. And then I'm also going to have you make an intelligence plus proficiency bonus roll. So total +4 to just kind of get a general quick read of the room in terms of like value of things.
21.
Oh, excellent. That was a good one to roll better on. I think that was like a base roll of 11 and 17. Okay, wonderful. So some things are fairly obvious, right? So there's a lot of stuff.
Base roll of what plus what? I rolled a 17, added 4. I got 21.
Yeah. Your perception roll was an 11 plus 7.
Yes, that was accurate. Yeah.
I'm saying you rolled higher on the better one, on the one that you had half the bonus. So that is a good thing. A lot of stuff here is real obvious. Okay, so like looking around this room, there's like jeweled cups and like things that look like they're made of there are gemstones embedded in them or whatever. So there's a few odds and ends that are like just valuable trinkets. But there is also a lot of like you have the knowledge to know that these textiles are particularly valuable, right? The silks and stuff that's hanging here. And in fact, there's a beautiful gray cloak. So someone has taken off, like set over the back of a chair.
An elven
that
cloak.
looks like looks of incredible value, and of course elven make.
Yeah. So.
Meanwhile, Fettid, you did not have the ability to magically teleport yourself through a window, so you climbed up onto the quarterdeck, the back of the ship, above. So you're basically on the roof above Tromlin, on the back of the ship, where there currently is no one.
Okay.
And the quarterdeck of the ship is where like people command the ship from, and of course the ship is tied up, so this is a good spot to climb up and hide. And although there isn't a ton of clutter on the decks, there still has to be like some coils of rope here and there, and things that are needed for the actual running day-to-day of the vessel. So you have the ability to kind of sneak around. So you've slipped through this like maze of rope and boxes and so forth to look down from the quarterdeck onto the rest of the deck where there is some activity. And you see that there are, a handful of guards, basically at the top of the gunwale and at the doors to the great cabin where Tromlin is now. Make me a perception roll.
Okay. Let's see.
Just a general perception roll, so you kind of see where you're at.
23.
So that's not enough to detect Tromlin. So you're not sure where Tromlin went. All you know is Tromlin snuck a peek through the window and then disappeared in like a puff of fey magic. Like, he went bamf.
Typical. Classic Tromlin.
Yeah, but you do make out the sound of voices inside the cabin under your feet. So you are aware that somebody is in there talking in low voices, that you can hear sort of separate from the buzz of activity on deck.
Okay.
And then on deck, there's a number of elven crew members that are bringing up these supplies and taking them below decks and stowing them, or in some cases, opening crates and casks and taking what's in them out to then take that wherever it needs to go. And then the couple of guards here and there. What would you like to do?
That's a good question. Do I see anything valuable?
Not especially on deck. Like it kind of depends. There's definitely food amongst the stuff that's being unpacked. So it kind of depends on what you mean by valuable. You imagine that most of the valuables are probably inside the decks. You do have the ability to do some peeking in some of those places if you wish, because you could beast sense an animal around somewhere.
You know what? I think I'm just gonna stay here and keep an eye on stuff because I don't know where Tromlin is, and if something changes, it would be good to, have eyes in the sky, as it were.
Mm-hmm.
Did my video vanish?
Oh, you're frozen for us.
He's frozen.
I'm gonna refresh.
Yep. If this doesn't work, remember, Alina, we figured out the trick to fix this stuff.
Yeah, we're good.
Oh, you're moving now.
Good. Sorry about that.
Yep. No worries. Excellent. Okay, so Tromlin, you want to lift some stuff?
So, Mork is my god for the day, and part of his name is Chaos, correctly?
Yes, Mork is a goblin thief god.
Do I see anything small that I could basically take from one person and put on another?
Oh yes. I mean, probably not the two that are like having their food or whatever, but you could. So, for example, you could take some of the food or the expensive cutlery or whatever off of the little tray that they're eating off of, and like stick it in the pocket of the harpist.
That is kind of what I was thinking about doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I also
you
want
could
to
do
steal
that.
that. I want to steal that cloak.
For
Most of
sure.
the other stuff, I need to come back when I can find Fettid.
Make me a stealth roll for the cloak.
Is it
You
still
don't
the
really
plus
need
10?
it.
Still the plus 10 plus no basilic trace?
Yeah.
All right. And
This is just going to be stealth rather than sleight of hand because you're kind of just taking it.
oh, thank
Just
God, that's my
sitting there.
better stat. So
It's not like
so I rolled an 11 plus the 10 becomes 21 plus 9, 30.
is 30.
Nice.
Yeah.
Not bad.
I'll roll anyway because I might nat 20 on a perception roll. I did not. I nat
They are
1 on a
elves.
perception roll.
Ooh.
I just
but,
come out of the shadows,
Yeah.
tromping.
Well, let's one of them roll a nat 1. I'm going to say it's the harpist because they're distracted. But
They're really into that harp.
one of them rolled an 18, but that's still not going to be good enough. They don't have a plus 12.
Fuck y'all. I just, as I do it, I say a very silent prayer to Mork, like I commit this chaos in your name. Against,
Yep.
I assume that he's a goblin god. You said.
Yep.
I assume goblins are not BFFs for the elves.
No.
I commit this chaos in the house of elves in your name.
That's a good
Mork
tribute
is
for today.
pleased.
Tomorrow, get an elven god's like, hey, remember yesterday? We don't want to talk about it.
Now, the actual taking the stuff from their little table, that's going to require a more esoteric roll here. So now this is a sleight of hand.
Yeah, that's
and it
not
does
my
not
best.
get the bonus to pass without trace.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know. Do I still have that benefit, that thief benefit?
No, that's to stealth specifically.
Okay, gotcha. It's
So
worth a
just
shot.
Straight up.
Plus 6. Come
D20
on.
roll with a plus 6.
Jeez.
20.
A nat 20. Beautiful.
My sister gave me the best dice I've ever owned. Apparently,
So good.
Except I did get a 1. I did get a 1. I got a couple low rolls, but
now you got to roll again because now you're going to plant it on the harpist.
that's harder. Watch, let me go and get a 2.
I'm begging you, Lane. When
No,
the
I
harpist
did
gets
not,
accused of
thankfully.
stealing, can someone say, "Are you calling me a liar?"
Stab the harpist in the back with a fork.
What'd you
Hold
roll?
this for me. No, I didn't do that. Jesus Christ, I'm doing math because I'm an artist. I don't add things.
What's your
23
roll?
total.
So
Oh,
17. Okay. I will roll now the perception to see if the Harpist notices.
Please be distracted.
I'm not going to roll for the other two because they're not directly involved in this. I rolled pretty well, but not quite well enough. So, as far as you know, there has been no reaction as you slip this into one of their pockets.
Nice.
Okay.
All right.
So now you're going to go look for Fettid?
That, but I'm also going to try to lift that cloak on the way out. This is mine.
You already rolled for that. You got the cloak.
Okay,
no
cool.
problem.
I have the cloak. I'm making a mental note to come back for the textiles later. But I'm going to try to find Fettid as best I can.
Okay. So you can sneak around and look both out some of the portals just in case he's outside still, where you don't see him. You can also sneak towards the door of the cabin to see if you can spot or hear him outside.
He's a stealthy little motherfucker.
Yes.
I'm moving to the door.
Yes,
I'm rolling
indeed.
a stealth roll for this.
No, you don't need to roll. I'm just going to keep your stealth roll that you already had going.
All right,
For
so
hiding in the room. It's the same thing that you're doing, still hiding in the room. Okay, so now since that took a little while, I'm going to move back to the rest of the group here. Just before we get to break.
Yeah.
So you have bowled your way closer to that box, but as you get closer to it, it becomes apparent that's where you're coming. And the dwarven contingent there, which includes, some dwarven ambassadors and stuff, the guards are going to plant themselves in front of you and try and prevent you from getting to the box. So the dwarven guards in their armor are now moving forward, lowering their halberds in your direction. People, of course, nearby are like scrambling to get out of the way between you.
I'm going to whisper to Oogna, who is a known associate of Vincent McDwaro, who would be in on cheating if there was cheating happening?
Who would be, Lane?
I'm not sure what the question is. Sorry, who? Oh, we lost Randy.
No, he's back.
Nope, we got him back again. Sorry, so you want to know?
I want to know, like, if Vincent McDwaro's cheating, who is helping him, or who else knows? That's just a name that Oogna would know, who's like would likely be in on it.
Some underling of
McDwaro's? Yeah, who would be like a known associate or likely in on it.
Yeah, you know a few.
Bob.
Bob. There's there's a dwarf named Boab Hinan that you
Boab Hinan.
Yep. He's a clever little sly dwarf that they call him the brain.
Oh good.
So I'm gonna say Boab Hanan sends me with an urgent message about the plan going wrong for Vincent. I need to talk to him immediately.
As I
bluff the bejeebus out of him.
to a halt right by the halberds.
And sorry, so Copernicus is saying that to the guards?
To the guards stopping him. And he's trying to give off the impression that he knows something that they don't, but we all know this, and we all know this is important.
We all know the fix
Excellent.
is
Make me a persuasion roll. As I put my arm directly in front of the microphone.
Do I have any inspiration left?
You do now.
Yeah, you got one from the hype train. Although I think you were supposed to be down to 0. I think you got.
I thought I had one.
I think Alina.
Right.
No, you.
I think
you
I
had
didn't
one,
mark
but
off
I thought
one.
You spent it.
I had 2, and then I spent 1.
Right.
Which would put me down to 1.
I thought you
Alright,
spent another one just now.
And you got one.
No, I think. I was thinking of Tromlin. No. So no, he should have 2 now. Now 1.
Yeah, now he's down to 1.
Okay.
Yep.
So my first roll was a nat 7, which is a 14, which is not bad. I got good persuasion, but I'm hoping for better here. Nat 20! 27.
Wow. We've had some good nat 20s today.
Beautiful.
Holy smokes.
Good timing on that 20s today.
Pernie's
That's
vibe that he's really trying to build here. He really wants everyone to think that he's in on this plan and we need to talk about it. Like, he wants them to feel comfortable talking with him about the plan.
Well, the big thing here is you don't need to convince Vince. You're convincing the guards, and you've dropped a name that they know and you're like, I need to talk to Vince. It's fairly important.
It's about Boab. Boab fucked up.
And I'm just gonna roll a quick luck roll for you. Yeah, no, that's good. Just to determine that Boab is not in fact in the box right now. Yeah, so the guards are like, and one of them will sort of like put a hand on your shoulder and like usher you into the box. But not Oogna.
I'll just
And
stand and fret.
say, while the others still are sort of like,
Yeah, and I'm like looking out at
Halberds at
trying to see
Oogna.
what's going on with Basilisk.
And the guard will sort of lead you in like a step with his hand still on your shoulder and says, message for you, sir. To Vincent, who will step away. There are some other people here who are clearly more important than Vincent, who are like still watching the match, but Vincent breaks away from that group to step over, looking curiously at you since he has no idea who you are.
Okay. So I'm going to telegraph what I'm doing to you specifically, because I have a very specific scene that I'm trying to create, and it's basically straight out of Murder, She Wrote. This is how Purdy is basically Jessica Fletcher when you think about it. Like, he travels to far-flung locales, gets in weird situations due to extended family members in every city. There's always some kind of murder he's investigating, he's getting involved. And this is the climax
Fletcher
where you...
famously ate livers and drank blood.
Yeah, exactly. Very famous ate livers.
And summon demons, like...
My theory is that she actually committed all these murders because the chance of the coincidence that these murders are happening everywhere she goes is way higher. Yeah,
and Purdy
she's
does
the common
write
element.
in a book. Purdy does write in a book as well.
Yep, and he writes it all in his book.
And the scene that I'm going for is the like confrontation where you get the person to admit to doing the wrong thing on tape. And I can turn the live commentary feed back on so the whole stadium hears it if I can get him to say the right thing at the right moment. And this is what I'm trying to persuade my way towards. And I will spend every inspiration I have to have my Murder, She Wrote moment.
God, I would spend a hero point for you.
I would. Yeah.
I want this so bad. I cannot.
Do you want me to do it? Because you spent one for me earlier.
Well, let's. I think we can see how the scene goes.
Yeah.
This is probably a good point to take the break, so you can give it some thought about exactly what you want to say to him.
Good speech.
Yeah.
And what you're trying to get. I'm just going to quickly set the scene for where we're breaking off here. So, Basilisk, having taken pause and basically had begun circling and preparing and watching Thunderfist as he continued to struggle with the net until eventually Thunderfist basically gets a hold of part of the net and tears it and gets out. Which Copernicus, of course, you realize is the fact that he has managed to kill the mimic.
Yeah.
And at which point he's looking pretty wounded. He's looking pretty tired. The audience is losing their mind because they don't know why Basilisk like backed off. They're like, she's toying with him. What is she doing? No, he's tough. Don't get overconfident. And now that he has gotten free of the net, they're squaring off again. So you feel like maybe Basilisk got your message enough to be like, what's going on with this net? And waited to for Thunderfist to be free of it, to go back to like, okay, now we're fighting. And so they are now squaring off again across the void of empty air. As Basilisk is like poised to spring, claws ready, and Thunderfist, having lost one of his hammers in the tangle somewhere, has got the one big one in both hands and is preparing to try and leap across to meet her. And that is where we will take our break.
All right.
Okay.
See y'all in about 10:15.
Yep.
We will be back.